Hello and welcome to the first episode of Steam Roulette. So, as you can see, we are on the SteamDB page right now for my profile. And the reason why we're on here is because they actually have a roulette system at the bottom of the page which will choose a random game from my Steam library. So, the rules are going to be kind of simple. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the random game that it gives me. I'm going to play it for at a minimum of 2 hours throughout the week. I may do more than one a week, but I'm going to play it and then give you guys feedback on the game, kind of like a short little review style thing. And we'll see how it goes. So yeah, here we go. Alright, so scrolling down, we get The Division. Tom Clancy's The Division. Alright, well, good thing I already have this game installed. So yeah, let's hop right into it, see how the game is. So, to start off, I kind of want to go ahead and let you know that I've obviously played through this game before. Kind of the whole deal with this Steam library thing. Some of the games I've played, shocker. Anyways, I've got like 43 hours in this game, so I at least have... I didn't really even need to play 2 hours worth of this game to really like give you guys my analysis on it, really, but at least this was a nice refresher. As far as the gameplay goes, it's pretty straightforward. You just basically follow the storyline through the city, and which honestly the storyline is really not all that great, but I mean, you know, it's whatever. The real interesting part to me was to go around and explore this nice open world. I know a lot of people don't like the fact that this was in New York, or they thought that it was kind of dumb that they didn't add all of New York, because apparently when the game came out there was a whole bunch of like screenshots and gameplay of the whole like entire city being playable or something along those lines. I'm not completely sure, but people weren't very happy when they realized that it was just going to be a smaller section, which honestly to me wasn't a huge deal. I thought that there was a pretty good amount of room to explore and look around. So, I mean, the open world, in my opinion, was definitely a plus for the game. Other than doing the story missions, though, there's a lot of like side missions that are scattered around throughout the world, and you can kind of go through and just like encounter them as you walk by them, or you can actually seek them out. I actually had a pretty good amount of fun going around the map and just doing all the side quests, but to be honest, the side quests really aren't anything great. It's going to be like one of 3 different things. It's like, oh, hey, explore this area and turn on some beacons. Or it's like, hey, go and defend this cache from NPCs while they try to attack it. It gets kind of repetitive. So as far as the side quests go, not really great. Moving on to the gear in the game, I'm going to start off with weapons because the weapon seems like the most important piece of gear to me personally. Like, obviously you want to have something that can, you know, fight against your enemies. My problem with the weapons is there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of variety, in my opinion. Most of the time when I was going through the game initially, like, I would end up picking up like a new gun or something like that, and most of the time it was just the same weapon that I already had with new stats rolled on it, and that was kind of like a letdown almost. But I don't know. You can also get like attachments and stuff like that here and there for your guns, and you know, you can change it up like that and put skins on it and stuff like that. But as far as like the actual base of the weapon goes, wasn't a whole lot of variety there for me. Moving over to the armor end of the spectrum, there's actually a lot of variety here with this stuff. Like, you have a bunch of different categories like masks, body armor, backpacks, gloves, knee pads, etc. And each of those categories has numerous amounts of different like types of actual items that you can get. And I mean, granted, it's a lot like the weapon system where a lot of it's just, you know, stat rolled fucking items, but you know, I mean, at least there's a lot more variety in this section. The Division is a completely multiplayer based game, meaning that you're always online and you can see other players running around in the world, and they're in bases and doing their own thing, and you can see them, and that's super cool to me. But the problem with it is when you're looking for any sort of matchmaking scenario, this game's pretty much dead. Now, I mean, I could be wrong because I was trying to matchmake on a Tuesday at like 2 p.m. So, I mean, it wasn't like these were peak hours or anything like that. But honestly, the Division 2 is already out. It's right now it's months into its life cycle, and I think anyone who really wanted to play the Division 1 has already migrated over at this point. So, I mean, I think it would be a rare circumstance to actually find somebody like wanting to like get a full match together in these online like matchmaking scenarios, which is a little unfortunate because I mean without being able to matchmake, the DLCs for this game are kind of unplayable. The Division also has this really interesting game mode that I've always thought was really unique. It's called the Dark Zone, and basically what it is you go into a section of the map where PvP is enabled, and you go around and you kill NPCs that are running around and stuff like that, and you gather loot, but any of the loot that you gather while you're in the Dark Zone is like infected or like tainted or whatever you say. So you have to get it to an extraction zone and protect it and get it out of the map so that way you can use it once you leave the Dark Zone. And if you get killed by another player while you have that loot on you, they obviously can pick it up off of you once you die, which I thought was really interesting because you're farming out really good gear here, so there's actually like high risk, high reward. But at this point in the game, I was in the Dark Zone for probably an hour's worth of the footage that I got, and I did not see another player the entire time. It was just me farming NPCs for free loot, basically, which was a little disappointing. Moving on to some final thoughts here. The Division is not a bad game. There's obviously some aspects to the game that aren't great, but honestly, like, I've gotten over 40 hours out of the game. I'm pretty sure I didn't buy it when it first came out. I'm pretty sure I got it on sale for like $20 or something like that. I think I even bought the expansion pass for the game, which is unfortunate for me because I don't even think I got into the DLC content before the game was kind of already like dead. But I mean, the game has its pros and its cons, so I mean, we'll go over them real quick. I'd say under the pros list we have nice visuals. Open world is a plus. The game has a character creator, which isn't super fleshed out, but I mean, I like having a character creator in the game, no matter whether it's super crazy or not. I just like to be able to play as my own guy. But on the cons list, we have, kind of repetitive, so it can get kind of boring. The online features are basically empty at this point. And the weapon variety is not the greatest in my opinion, so I mean, take that for what it's worth. Altogether, I would probably give this game like a 5 out of 10, which isn't terrible, pretty average. And that's at the current state of the game. It would probably be a little bit higher if the online features actually were, more populated, etc. But I mean, to be honest, this game goes on sale on Steam for like $5. So I mean, for 40 hours worth of content from me, I would feel like $5 is an alright sale. I mean, you and a friend can get it and play it co-op, or you can even play it up with 4 friends, I think. So, I mean, pick it up on sale if you really are interested in it. I was, so I mean, I'm not at all disappointed with my purchase, so take that for what it's worth. On the other hand, if you think the game isn't really up to your speed, or you would rather just play the new one that's come out, because I don't know if you would really need to play this first game to even get into the second one. You could always do that, try to wait for it to go on sale or whatever if you wanted to, or I mean, if you're actually super interested in it, you just buy it straight up. But for this game, I mean, that's pretty much all there is to say from my end. So I guess I'll see you guys with another Steam Roulette next time. See you then.
Putting together a rig for tactical intel analysis. It's about time we use it.